The information that I share inside the program is information that has helped me release more than $40,000 of debt. I also have released 52 pounds of weight. I let go of a car that was costing me a fuck ton of money and causing a shitstorm of stress, and ended up actually buying a brand new car like years before I ever thought that was going to be a thing that I could or would do. Helped me like manifest the most amazing wedding. It helped me manifest a dream trip to Greece. I mean, the list could go on and on. Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast, where we talk about manifestation, money, and practical guidance to creating your dream reality. My name is Amy Van Meel, and I am an experienced coach and transformation guide, obsessed with helping you get out of your own way and create a life that blows your mind each day you wake up. My goal in this podcast is to share practical manifestation, self-awareness, and growth techniques in real talk conversations. So if you're ready to massively transform your reality, your finances, your relationships, and your overall enjoyment of life, you are in the right place. I am absolutely delighted that you're here with me today, babe. Let's get into it. Well, hello, my love, and welcome back to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am very happy to have you here with me yet again this week. I want to remind you right off the start that if you have not yet done so, I would really love and appreciate if you would leave a review of this podcast on your favorite podcasting platform. Of course, all of those reviews and the ratings tells all the algorithm things that this is something worth listening to, and then it will tell the algorithm to show it to other people. So I would really love if you could help me out and do that. That would be great. I am wrapping up a week. It's actually Friday when I'm recording this. So this podcast is going to be dropping in about 4 days, I think, roughly from when I record it. And it's been a very exciting and very different kind of week on my end. It's been a short work week. We had Monday off. I mean, I can take whatever days off I want to, I suppose. And also I can work all of them, which I often do, which is sort of the hashtag entrepreneur life, I feel like, right? I mean, come on. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. But if my husband is off, I do my best to take some time off and be with him. And then I scooted north to spend some time with one of my favorite humans, my mother-in-law. I just adore her and think she's amazing. And every now and again, I just drive up during the day to go hang out and spend some time. So it made for a shorter week in the office, which is not to say that I got any less done. I spent the last day or so editing up a podcast episode that's going to be dropping in 2 weeks' time. No, I'm looking at the wrong week of the calendar. 4 weeks' time. It's going to be in a few weeks, okay? Somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks. I'm super excited. I had this idea for doing a Women of Intrigue series. And as I meet women who I just think are amazing and would have some really fantastic wisdom and knowledge to share with you, I get real brave for 30 seconds and I ask if they would come on my podcast. And so far, all the women I've asked have said yes, which means there are a few interviews in the hopper waiting to come out for you. The first interview, our inaugural episode, oh my God, it's so good. I literally just finished editing it. I finished getting all the social media, like reels and stories and everything ready, and I am feeling fucking inspired. So I know you're going to absolutely love it. I won't tell you who it is yet. You're going to have to just hang tight, but it's good. And then in the new year, I'm very excited to, it's probably going to come out as 2, possibly 3 episodes. I sat down with a woman that I literally just I'd never met her before. We were at a friend's backyard barbecue together in the summertime. and I overheard her say to somebody that she used to race motorcycles. And I stopped my conversation dead. I was like, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I immediately went and introduced myself, made sure that before we left and we were about to leave the party, that I asked her, would you be willing to come on the podcast? Because I'm really intrigued to learn more. Like, that's probably the second thing I said to her, other than my name is Amy. I think that like what you do is very cool. So she didn't know anything about me, and bless her heart, she said yes. And when she actually, we got to do this interview in person, which is super exciting. Downside is I have no video because I only have so many ways that I can record at one time, and I had all of them in use while she and I were sitting together. But our conversation was so good. I think we actually sat in our kitchen for like 5 hours. Now, the interview is not 5 hours long. We sat for 90 minutes just talking before we ever made it to pressing record. So those episodes, it's going to be dropping in a series of episodes because I just can't imagine you pressing play on like a 2 or 3 hour podcast. I don't even know actually if you could upload a podcast episode that long. Anyway, I suppose I could try and we could find out, but we're going to drop it as a series of episodes, and I'm super fucking excited to share that as well. So there is a lot of really, really exciting stuff coming. And at the same time, I am lining up to do some podcast interviews myself on a few different platforms. And it's something that I'm very much going to be focusing on in 2025, which is kind of weird to say, but I've already been planning and thinking ahead to 2025. So I'm not checked out of 2024 yet, of course, because we're still here. But I definitely am excited for what the next 12 months is going to bring. And I'm very hopeful and excited, and some emotions that I can't quite put my finger on right now. That at the end or middle or somewhere in process of this episode, you are also going to say yes to an invitation that I have for you that is going to make 2025 a really, really amazing year for you. I want so much, if I had a magic wand, or if I could just Care Bear out love out of my belly button and create change in one way in the world, it would be to, oh my gosh, put really important, powerful wisdom and knowledge in the hands of amazing people like you, and give you the tools and strategies that I have tested myself and I know that they work, so that you could feel financially empowered, that you could feel fully confident in your life, so that you can be fully supported and just fucking walk into the world and do really fucking amazing things. And that is kind of what we're going to talk about today. In the scope of, I'm going to be doing some FAQs on the Building Fempires program, because at the time this episode drops, there's going to be about 60 hours left, slightly more than 48, because the episode drops in the morning, and cart closes on Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is, let me look at the calendar, November 22nd. So if you are listening to this anytime before November 22nd, 5 p.m. in 2024, the cart for Building Fempires is still open, but it is about to close. And I have been really focusing in on giving you some amazing knowledge and insight through the 5 Energies of Money series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please reach out to me if you've been really enjoying the series. Drop a DM on the Instagrams or the TikToks and let me know what you've thought. But I want to maybe clear some questions that you might have in advance of potentially enrolling in the Building Fempires program. So what I am going to do, we're going to set this up. I have 6 questions that I'm going to answer. If I could keep answering them for days, but you don't want to sit here for 400 hours, right? You have things to do. So I have 6 questions that I want to answer. I want to answer them in such a way that is open enough for you to apply to your life, because of course your life is going to look very different than anybody else's. And also, I want to use words in such a way that are as if you are already have made the decision to enroll in the program and you're just kind of like, okay, what can I expect? What is this going to look like? Right? So let's get into it. We will start with question number 1. What result can I expect as a result of investing in the Building Fempires program? Babe, I am so glad you asked. So, this is a very exciting question to answer and also a very tricky question to answer. And I'm going to start with the tricky part first. The reason that it is tricky to start with is because you are going to come into this program with some expectation of what you're desiring to achieve or what you're desiring to see. I want to paint a few pictures for you to help you see, like what could possibly come as a result of saying yes, investing in Building Fempires, going through the program, doing the workbooks, doing the modules, like actually stepping into the gateway of transformation. The information that I share inside the program is information that has helped me release more than $40,000 of debt. Now, I call it leveraged money, but I use debt in situations like this so you understand we have a common language, right? More than $40,000. I actually don't know exactly how much it is because I've been using some of the tools and strategies inside the program for so long, and I've been on releasing leveraged money since I was like 16, I think. I don't know. So I guarantee it's more than 40,000, but I know for sure it's $40,000 that has been released as a result of what I teach and share inside the program. I also have released 52 pounds of weight. I let go of a car that was costing me a fuck ton of money and causing a shitstorm of stress, and ended up actually buying a brand new car like years before I ever thought that was going to be a thing that I could or would do. The tools and strategies that I share and some of the knowledge that I share help me like manifest the most amazing wedding. It helped me manifest a dream trip to Greece. I mean, the list could go on and on. So when I say like, what result can you expect? It can be anything and everything. Of course, the program focuses on money. So what I would say is almost guaranteed, and I say almost because you are the critical factor here, babe, but almost could guarantee that your money story and your experience with money is going to change for the better. And by that, I mean that if you are feeling broke, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, if you feel really disempowered with money, the Building Fempires program addresses that head on. And we literally start by setting a really solid foundation of information that is meant to and has helped me completely shift some very, very old stories, like stories that I think existed in my life outside of what I created them, right? Like I'm talking generational stories. And that foundation literally is your jumping off point and will help start to shift everything of how you see with money. And oh my goodness, it is fucking empowering. It's going to blow your mind, some of what I share inside the program. I'm excited to find out like what parts blow your mind versus like what parts blow my mind. And yeah, so in terms of like the results that you can expect, let me just like tighten this back up. For sure, you're going to shift your relationship with money, and it's pretty much guaranteed that it's going to be for the better. As a result of that, this is where it gets kind of tricky to identify, because using that shift, you could create amazing promotions, create salary increases. I had a more than 20% salary increase that was so stunning in its volume that even the director who was giving me the conversation telling me about my increase was gobsmacked at my increase. Literally the stuff I teach you inside Building Fempires is what I was like grounded into. So I wasn't at all surprised about this increase. So promotions, salary increases, more joy, more happiness. Now here's a very cool thing. As you increase your confidence, which comes as a part of moving through the program, that is going to radiate out, which is going to naturally draw and magnetize more opportunities to you. So this is the vague part of like, I don't know, because fuck, maybe you want to go be a speaker on stage. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to find a romantic partner. Maybe you want to buy a new house. Maybe you want to travel the world. These things are potentially like have the opportunity to be magnetized towards you as a result of investing in this program, investing in yourself, and actually applying the knowledge. So that's what I mean. Like, this question is a tricky one to answer because it's so big, but I think that gives you a good first idea. Okay, the next thing that I want to address is, how do I know that this will work for me, right? Like, so often I think that we are sold a bill of goods, right? Something that says, okay, here, it's going to do this, 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 this. And then sometimes we might enroll in the program, buy the product, go on the vacation, do the experience, and find that like, actually, that's not at all, like, it's not helpful for me at all. That's fair. I'm going to give you like a first of all, and then a second of all. First of all is, your intuition, your higher self, your soul calling already knows if this is going to work for you or not. And to that end, if you feel a pull towards it, if your intuition is going, can we please invest in this? Especially when it defies all logic, when you're like, I got no fucking money to pay for this, or I don't know anything about Amy, or, whatever. When you feel that pull, when your intuition is like nudging you along, it's pretty much fucking guaranteed to work, okay? Because your intuition does not lead you in the wrong direction. It just doesn't. When we don't listen to it, we get into all kinds of fancy trouble. But if we listen to it, then I have never yet been let down. I've had some really fucking wild experiences, I'm not gonna lie, and I have been like living in the world of deep, firm trust for a very long time as I listen to and follow my intuition. But my intuition, my gut, my soul, my higher self has never once led me wrong. So that's the first of all. So how do you know if it'll work for you? Listen, if you're already feeling that call, if you feel that nudge, it's meant for you, okay? So it's simply a matter of you trusting it and saying yes. The other side of that, so I said like part 2 or like the other thing. How do I know this will work for me? Let's talk about your conscious mind, because that's the part that's asking the question. The truth is, anything and everything that exists on the planet, I don't care what it is, will only work for you if A, you believe it will work for you, and B, you actually do the work. Okay? So I know that everything that I share inside the Building Fempires program is super, super juicy and super powerful. I also know that I have set it up in such a way to make it fairly simple and easy to understand so that it's approachable, which was super fucking important for me, especially when it comes to talking about money. And I know that I have done everything possible to make it as easy for you to pick up and do the learning and do the embodiment. All right. So I know that if you lean in and you do the modules, so whether you read them or you watch the videos and you do the workbooks and you actually apply it, I guarantee you it's going to work for you. It almost can't not work because like it's energetic. I almost said energetic energy. That's not what I want to say. It's an energetic exchange. It's inputs that you're putting in. And when you put in inputs that say, hey, I'm tired of this, or this is shifting, and I'm actually taking active steps to create a different reality, it needs to, it has to, it's going to shift. So it will work for you so long as, of course, you do the work. If you literally just listen to the episodes or you just watch the episodes, I'm thinking of podcasts. If you just listen to the modules or you just watch or read the content, of course, you're going to get some value and there is going to be some shift because knowledge just creates shifts in us. It does it all the time, even when it's super tiny and we can't see it. To get the most value out of it and to really like see the shift happening, that's where you need to actually put in the work. So I can pretty much like guarantee it's going to work for you so long as you're actually like going to get in there and do the thing. Okay? So get in there and do the thing. Okay. Question number 3. I know how to use my credit card, Amy. Why do I care about learning more? So let me address this one front on. A huge part of the Building Fempires program specifically goes over I think it's like 5 or 6. At some point, I need to actually write the countdown, but I think it's like 5 or 6 what I call common financial tools, meaning that no matter where you exist in the world, for the most part, there is going to be a version of this financial tool that I share available to you. One of the tricky things is, of course, that a credit card in Canada or a credit card in the US or a credit card in Europe or a credit card in Australia, they'll all have slightly different like rules and slightly different guidelines and ways that they operate and like, right? That's just part of financial tools. It's just part of the economy. That's how it works. It's how money works. It's why we all have different currencies in all the different countries. However, I have kept the knowledge and the information in there clear enough that it can apply to anywhere, and also empowering you to understand the tools. So let me walk back to the question. I know how to use my credit card. Why do I care about learning more? When I was 18, I was given zero information about a credit card other than go get a credit card because credit card companies will just say, yes, you're 18. They want to get you into the cycle, right? Now we could get into this like very sort of depressing black hole kind of vibe of like, they're just trying to milk me dry. That's not what I'm talking about. What I do want to be clear though is that this is a tool that was given to me that had zero explanation. Imagine if someone just handed you car keys and you have never, ever, ever learned anything about driving. You've seen people use cars. You've been beside them when they're driving or walked alongside their roadway, but no one has ever taught you how to drive a car. And you don't understand it, but you're like, well, I guess I'll fucking figure it out. And you do over time. Like if let's say you're 40 years old like me, I'm 41, but whatever. Right now, you've probably had a credit card for a while. You've probably used a number of financial tools. You may have your own mortgage already. You may have lines of credit and all kinds of things. And that's totally fine. It's not just learning about the tools, but it is also understanding the tools. And that's a big one. When I was first being called into the work of teaching about money, I was literally went in there kicking and screaming because I was like, I am not the person to be teaching about money. Are you fucking nuts? But the universe just kept coming at me. And finally, I'm like, okay. And so I reached out. I think I met with, gosh, it's got to be about 10 different women, all in very like solid careers, had lots of wins. And one of the things that I noticed was when talking about money, they had some really significant wins and also were seriously lacking some confidence in some areas. And one of the big ones was investing. And it's a huge, huge area that for women in particular, we need to take control of that area of life, even if nothing in the Building Fempires program says you can't use investment advisors or financial professionals or anything like that. However, your money and your future is yours. Nobody is going to care about it as much as you do. So understanding it is integral into creating lasting wealth and success. So it's not just about learning how to use your credit card. And it's not just about like understanding investing. It's all of the things. Okay. So you care about learning more because you care about your wealth and your financial future. So one of my favorite questions, moving on to question number 4, super excited to talk about this one. Will this help me earn more money? I'm so glad you asked. What a great question to ask. Yes, of course, it has the opportunity to help you earn more money. Integral to the Building Fempires program is grounded confidence. And let me tell you, babe, when you feel confident in your work, confident in your value, confident in yourself, confident in having conversations about money, about promotions, about anything, that confidence radiates out and people respond. When I say that, like, I had a received a 20%, more than 20%. Actually, I think it was like 21.6% or something like bizarre like that. It was more than 20%. When I received the increase, even though logically to like the powers that be, they're like, I don't understand. Internally, I'm like, well, of course, you're finally paying me where I was supposed to be at all along. It was such a non-event to me that I needed to walk away and kind of reflect on. I'm like, am I a greedy person? Oh no, I'm not greedy. They just finally are picking up and like pulling in what I've been resonating at all along. So the way the program is written, over the course of 7 weeks, you learn really like solid core foundational money knowledge. You learn about money tools. You learn specific tools and strategies that help you ground and embody the learning. You also learn and work on creating your new empowered identity. And don't let that, like, if you hear new and empowered, you're like, I don't really want to rewrite my life. Literally, it can be new as in, okay, I used to be a person who wears all black, and now I am a person who also sometimes wears white, right? That would be new. So you can nuance it, of course, but I walk you through the process and I guide you how to actually create this fucking powerful powerhouse, embodied, unfuckwithable version of yourself, whatever that looks like. And your version is going to look different than my version, and that's going to look different than like my friend's version, because all of us have a different way of operating in the world. Thank goodness, because how boring would the world be if we were all the same? So, will this help you make more money? Yes, it absolutely can do that. And also, it's about becoming a person who naturally magnetizes that in. All right? So, yeah, I think that's fully answered the question. I think we've covered it. Okay, this one is, I laugh because I feel a little self-conscious because like, oh my goodness, let me just, before I share the question, let me front it by saying, at some point, I would love to hire my husband as my PR person, because when I hear him talk about the work that I do and who I am and what my skills are, I'm like, damn, like, I don't know who you're talking about, but she sounds fucking badass. And then I'm like, why do I have such a hard time talking about myself in that way, right? Like it's such a, I don't know. I think it's a bunch, I'm sure it's 1,000 things. And this isn't a therapy session. This is not for me to explore into like, why do I struggle talking about myself? But I'm going to front that because this question is, why learn from you, Amy? Like, what the hell do you have to teach me? Why do I want to learn from you instead of pick anybody else? Well, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked. And we're going to stumble through the awkwardness together. First of all, I have more than 20 years of experience and pain and struggle and frustration and learning and growing and practicing and trialing specifically in relation to money, but also in how that relates to everything from career to business to relationships to health and all the things. So first of all, when you learn from me, you get to tap into more than 20 years worth of knowledge and wisdom and experience, which can only shorten your learning curve. Okay? That's all it can do. It can only shorten it. If it does nothing else, it's absolutely going to short your learning curve. The second reason, I suppose, in the list of why learn from me specifically, as I mentioned before, I have used what I share inside the Building Fempires program to release tens of thousands of dollars of debt, to release weight, to create some amazing dreams. I have tried and tested everything that I share in the program, and I only share what's worked. So over 20 years, you can imagine I've probably learned and tried a shit ton of things. I only share with you what works. The third one, and this one I think is possibly the most powerful, I suppose it's the right word for it, reason of like, why do you want to learn from me? Because I am not going to fucking sugarcoat it. And by that, I mean, I'm not going to be like, you need to get yourself in order, like get yourself figured out. No, I talk about money clearly, candidly, and fucking honestly. I have tried to follow, I've tried to follow advice of experts over the years, found myself only feeling fucking defeated and completely like behind and lost. And just over and over and over being like, oh my God, does this just mean like I'm just destined to be broke for the rest of my fucking life? Like if I didn't start investing $1,000 a month when I was 16, does that mean I'm just never going to retire? Like when I talk about money, um, if you are on the email list and you got this Monday's email, which by the way, if you aren't on the email list, get yourself signed up. It's amyvanmeal.com/insights, because I send some like super fun emails. I promise only to send fun emails, but this Monday, the email that I sent out is basically like unvarnished Amy talking about money. And Building Fempires is a version of that where I get so fucking tired of the garbage that we, particularly as women, but just people who aren't CEOs of, giant companies, the garbage that we are told and how that garbage keeps us stuck. And so I would say probably the biggest reason that you want to learn from me versus learning from somebody else is that I am very honest and upfront and clear about it. I call out some of the shit that we've been taught and that has been keeping us like stuck and sort of in this like awful spinning space, right? And that is, I feel, super important because once I started to break those things down, I was like, oh my God, that's why I've been struggling so hard with this. That's why I felt this way my whole life. That's why, whatever. So big thing is that I've read countless books. I've invested in tons of programs. I've listened to podcasts. I've had conversations. I've done the work. Like I share inside the Building Fempires program a few of the investments that I've made. I'm laughing, and I'll tell you why in a second here. Because one of the investments that I made, I specifically wanted to be part of an IPO. I tell you what that is inside the program. And I was so excited, and I invested in the IPO, and then promptly have watched that investment just fucking drop like a cinder block boulder to the bottom of the ocean. And I'm like, cool. Okay. Well, I was part of the IPO and now I'm just watching this investment make $0 whatsoever. I share those learnings and insights because I think that it's really important that we understand what it can sometimes look like. One of the things that I'm honestly most fucking excited about, there's going to come a day, you've heard it here first, there's going to come a day that I'm going to be sitting on a stage or on TV or being interviewed on a podcast or something where I'm going to be at this like outrageous level of success and people are going to look at me and go, oh my gosh, like Amy, like she's worth millions and her investment portfolio is worth millions and like she just must have had this all figured out since day one. And if nothing else, Building Fempires is proof I did not have it figured out since day one. But I got started. And that is one of the biggest keys that I share inside the program is like so fucking powerful to just get started. So I'm going to leave it there in terms of like why learn from me, because we could be here for hours and I don't want to keep you here for hours. But those are some of the big ones. And I want to front something head on. So I say this, I make this very clear in the program, especially when you get into the financial tools module. You'll see that like the module itself is fronted with some pretty big disclaimers. The lessons on investing are fronted with big disclaimers. And those disclaimers are basically sort of kind of what I'm going to tell you here. So in short, I am not a trained financial advisor or a financial consultant or a financial expert of any kind. And that is by design. I've had people over the years, especially in the last like 2 years since I've really like been building and growing this business, say, Amy, it would be amazing if you became a financial advisor or a financial consultant or like whatever, pick whatever title you want. The problem with that is that I am learning systems that I'm not super interested in, and also likely going to be beholden that I can only speak about financial tools and things in a specific way. And I honestly don't feel that's how I meant to be of service. So I have intentionally not taken those specific like trainings and certifications because I want to make sure that what I share with you, what I share in the program, what I share with the world is tried and tested and like found knowledge isn't quite the right way to say it, but it's the words that are coming to my head right now. That I am not hamstrung, I suppose, from being able to have candid conversations with you about money. I have one of the things, so when I was leading teams, how many sentences can I start at one go? When I was leading teams back in my job, and I specifically was leading other leaders, and we would have conversations about salary, whether it was like our yearly review or quarterly review or what was going on, or we were hiring somebody new, whatever that looked like. I always approached every conversation about money with full candor and full transparency. And that transparency included if someone said, "Hey, why can't I make more money?" Well, this is, this is what I can put into or influence in terms of your salary. And also the final decision comes from our HR or finance department or whatever else. And I also told everybody that worked under me, don't you ever fuck around with a conversation about money. I don't care if it's uncomfortable. I don't care if you're squirming in your seat. Money is integral to us existing and operating in the world. And let's be real, the company is great. We're all like, yay, our work is amazing. But nobody would fucking be here if we weren't getting paid. So I bring the same level of candor and just realism into the Building Fempires program. The everything that's inside the program I've tried and tested myself. So I share a number of modalities that I've tried and tested. Some of them I have gotten some training in. I don't have like a ton of certifications at this time. And again, those will come over time as I see what's helpful. But I am much more interested in getting knowledge and tools and strategy and insight into your hands now so that you can actually like use them to create shifts and changes immediately. Okay? Yeah. So finally, let's wrap up with our last question. Why pay for this? Can't I find it all free somewhere else? Why would I invest in this program? Why would I circulate money into this program? What's the reason, Amy, that I should drop the dollars and put them in your bank account as opposed to just keeping them in my bank account and I can use them to buy shoes or coffee or, I don't know, go on a trip, right? So I just promised you that I would be very candid about money. First of all, here's the number one reason why you want to pay for this. It's because you want to help me become a millionaire. Kidding. Ha. No. Although thank you for that. No. So number one reason why you want to pay for this program, why you're actually circulating money into this program. Because yes, if you want to spend the next 20 years, you can probably read all the books that I've read. You could probably go find all the podcasts that I've listened to. You will need to do some investing because I've paid for tens of thousands of dollars of coaching and like online programs and tons and tons of development. So 100% you can go do that if you want to. But the number one reason that you would invest in the Building Fempires program is when you actually make the investment. And by that, I mean, you click the button that says, yep, I'm paying for this program. Here is my credit card number. Here is the money for the program. That very specific transaction is a very, very fucking powerful, what's the word I'm looking for? Like ricochet into the universe. The transformation that you call in comes in large part from that specific action. So let me say this in a different way. If I offered this program for free, I just like put it together and I was like, I just want to do good things in the world. So I'm just going to like put this out there and people can download it. Pretty much guarantee almost with like, I'm going to say 99% accuracy that A, you're never going to finish it. B, you're not going to take it seriously. And C, you probably won't see the transformation because of like A and B, right? Where you're not taking it seriously. But also, there is something very, very, very integral to the shift that happens as a result of actually paying for the program. You'll take it more seriously. Yes. You are more likely to actually like do the work. Yes, of course, those things are important. And also, it's that initiation of that transformation. So, and then, I mean, the other side of it is like, why pay for this? Can I find it for free? 100%. Like I said, I mean, I did spend thousands of dollars on programs. So of course you can't get it all for free because there's going to be something that somewhere you're going to have to pay for. But also it's more than 20 years worth of knowledge. I mean, come on, like you're shortening your learning curve by at least 2 decades, right? Like it's the amount of time and energy that I've spent learning this information and then bringing it together in a way to make it clear and concise and easy for you to understand. I mean, that's indescribable. And finally, the last part that I'm going to combine the last two questions together. Why learn from you, Amy, and why pay for this? This is a heartfelt message from my soul to yours. I honestly never in my life thought that I would be teaching about money. I can only describe this work as my soul's calling. And yes, even if I could give you a list of all the books, all the podcasts, all the resources, all the programs that I've invested in, all of the things that I've tried, there is a special kind of magic that comes together through how my soul has experienced things and how my soul has actually come together to say, here is this really amazing knowledge and information, and I want to give it to you. And all I need you to do is say yes and pay a little bit of money. And that is something that you honestly, you cannot find that anywhere else. There is nowhere else that I know of that there's some other version of Amy Van Meel out there who's gone through the exact same experiences and had the exact same lessons and had the exact same like learning and in the timeline of the way that I've learned them. You can't find that anywhere else. So there is when we follow somebody, when we decide to learn from somebody, we are not just deciding to learn information. I think that I want to find a way to like someday like make that more clear. But like we're not just wanting to learn information. We are wanting to learn information from that person. It is the same reason why you'll hear Marie Forleo talk about it. You'll hear Jim Fortin talk about it. You'll hear James Wedmore talk about it. You'll hear kind of anybody, Oprah, anybody who is doing their part to inspire others to step forward into their genius and into their desires, because you truly are a very, very unique, exceptional, once in a fucking, not just lifetime, like ever in the history of time, as far back as it started and into the fullness of time as it extends forward, there will never exist another version of you. It is not fucking possible. And that specific, all the stuff that's happened in your life, all the things that have happened in my life have come together in this very specific, unique way in order to show up in the world in this way at this time. Okay? So I've often wondered, like, why did I not have this idea when I was 20? Well, because I had 20 more years of learning that I apparently was like, I want to do more learning yet. Before I got anywhere close to even having the idea of somehow teaching about money, right? So there's a lot that comes into it. So I suppose I'm going to end this question by saying, you want to pay for this because A, You want to initiate that powerful transformation. It's fucking powerful when you actually say yes and you circulate money into something. And also, you want to pay for it because you want access to more than 20 years of wisdom, more than 20 years of insight, and you just want some real talk about money. All right. Whew. Those are the 6 FAQs that I have for you today. I've done my best to come up with like what are the most common ones that you are likely asking about. If you haven't checked out the sales page yet, I do my best to like have the sales page. It can be as full as you want, or you can go straight to the payment options if you want to. I think I've said this a couple times, but this is one of the first times that I actually have a payment option available for you. Now the program itself, my intent all along has been to keep the program approachable in terms of the investment. And also I understand that like sometimes we need a little bit of leeway, I suppose is the way that I'm going to say it. So there is a payment plan available for you as well. And yeah, so like I said, the doors are closing on Friday, November 22nd at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So whatever time that is for you, please don't wait till the very end of the day because like weird shit can sometimes happen with technology. I really, really would love to see you inside the program. And please, how do I say this? If there's a friend that you're like, she or he might really love this. I would love if you A, send along this podcast, or B, send along the sales page, which is amyvanmeel.com/money. And of course, that URL is in the show notes for you. I would very much love your help getting the word out there because, man, I want for everyone, I just want everybody to get along. I want for everyone to feel empowered and knowledgeable and confident, not just in their finances, but in all of their life. And that really is the reason why I created the Building Fempires program, why I'm willing to put myself out week over week, onto the podcast, onto the socials and be like, this could be scary, but here we go. I'm going to talk about it because I just firmly believe that when we have actual solid knowledge and tools and strategies that can help us ground and execute that knowledge, and we go out and do our very best work in the world, I mean, we can only make the world a better place. So that's the heart of really, I suppose, why I very much want to get this program into the hands of the many. And so the next enrollment period isn't going to be until next year. And if you enroll this week, you literally can have the program done or almost done before the New Year's, which means you would start off 2025 with really amazing knowledge, some really fucking powerful tools and strategies to help you execute. And like, oh my gosh, just imagine like it's New Year's Eve 2024 and you're setting your intentions or whatever, declaring your goals, your New Year's resolutions. And you're like, oh my gosh, I fucking got this year because you made a decision in November that is fully aligned with what you desire to create. So with that, my love, I am going to wrap this episode and I will see you next week on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here with me. And one last quick little reminder, if you haven't yet, please leave a review of the podcast. Have an amazing week ahead, my love. Mwah. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and help me reach more like-minded people who are ready to expand their life. If you haven't yet followed me on social media, find me on Instagram for extra love and inspiration by following @AmyVanMeel or visit my website at amyvanmeel.com. I love you so much, babe, and I am damn proud of you. I am already excited to connect in the next episode. And in the meantime, believe in yourself with the confidence of a 5-year-old.